see most of the human race killed off because it is unworthy. It is unworthy of the gift of life.
The Darwinist theory has to do about nature. The strongest will survive, the survival of the fittest. And if you transfer this onto society, it will be a Nazi-like philosophy of trampling the weak under the foot. And if you die, you have deserved to die.
We're working with natural law. We're working along with natural law. And nature has now decreed that most of man must die.
I think all people have streaks of social Darwinism in their nature when they're very annoyed at other people. They would think, oh, I really like to kill him. I wish he was dead. But I think most of us have too much compassion to take this to the logical conclusion, which is a society where people go around randomly killing each other all the time, which will be very uncomfortable and very unsafe, but obviously very exciting, because you will never know what will happen the next day. You will never know if you have 1, 2, or 3 days left to live. But it will be too much of a strain, I think.
For us, the 60s is a decade of corruption, the final culmination of 2,000 years of Judeo-Christian rottenness. The 60s were murdered, but its vestiges remain. We must annihilate its traces, branch and root. We must curse them from our life and from life itself. This is our sacred duty. In closing, I would remind those here that murder is the predator's prerogative, and there is no murder without blood.
We separate the human race into 2 species, predator and prey. What's happening right now is a process where the weak are falling off. There's a death wish in the human race that's expressing itself in mass murder, in all sorts of manifestations, and we encourage that.
The reality of it is, Doris, that this has given you an identity for the past 20 years or so. This is probably the best thing that ever happened to you, because you get to go
No, wait a minute.
Hey.
How dare you say this is the best thing that ever happened to her? I can't believe...
Well, what did this God of yours ever do for Sharon Tate? Did he offer any divine protection when
she happens to be with him now.
Oh, yeah? Well, then everything's fine. What are you whining about?
Yeah, just hurried her along to that happy place.
No, wait.
We're worried about tools here, Bob. Killing is just a tool. And it has a lot to do with who's getting killed and who's doing the killing. If it had been 4 people killed that night, no bodies, non-entities, you sure wouldn't be talking about it today. It just happened to be the Hollywood glitter, beautiful people type.
No, murder is murder, sir.
It's happening all the time, Bob. Even while we're talking, people are getting murdered. Nobody much cares about that. They're just statistics.
No.
It has to do with who's getting killed, who's
wait a minute.
Let Doris speak.
It's my time, okay? I happen to be the director of Parents of Murdered Children in Los Angeles, the murder capital of the world.
You must have a big membership.
Would you just shut up and let her talk? Look.
I think Friedrich Nietzsche is one of the great thinkers of our time. Charles Manson, certainly. Adolf Hitler. I don't believe he's insane at all.
I don't think he's as crazy as people would want to portray him. And he has a coherent philosophy of the world, which is a pro-nature and anti-human. The human race are worth nothing compared to the rest of the world, and he is not the only person that thinks this. I mean, many scholared philosophers have the same view. But obviously, if it comes from Charles Manson, it's looked upon as being a totally crazy notion.
Here's some of the flyers that they passed out. Friends of Justice, Justice for Charles Manson. What do you think about that? Here's what I think about that.
George,
All you've revealed is that you have been brainwashed by the same liberal media that you claim to despise so much.
All you prove, you freakos, is that you all belong in a padded cell. What do you think?
We are reflecting what is beautiful in nature. And of course the irony of that is that most ignorant human beings will mistake that as evil. They are frightened of their own possibilities. They're frightened of freedom. And their whole life is lived in fear. And that's why we will be their worst fear, their worst terror, their worst nightmare.
It's something that's a natural process that would come about on its own, and it is. And the people, the stratification is coming about. The people who are there are rising up and coming into line with us. And the others are just floundering. You know, I think Armageddon came a long time ago. The end of the world came ages ago, but it happened slowly over a period of time and nobody noticed it. It's an ongoing process. The world today is different than the world 30 years ago. It's like decayed so much, and it's decaying more and more all the time. And as that decay gets worse, we get stronger. And we are rising up as the entire world is sinking down. The entire world is rotten and corrupt, and they're ordaining their own death. To us, they're just dead people who refuse to lay down. They're cadavers.
And this was taken right off TV. We didn't look for this. This was just the first thing we recorded.
Yeah.
And we're living in a dead world at this moment. The world ended a long time ago. Those who fear that the world is going to end are very mistaken, because when we look around us on the streets of our rotting metropolises, we see automatons. These people are zombies. They have no spirit, they have no will, and the time has come at last for those of us who still have a will, for those of us who do have a vision of beauty, of strength, and really of a world where the truly demonic possibilities of man can be unleashed once and for all. We are now undergoing the final death of a certain way of life. The human life wave is being destroyed. It's destroying itself. It's destroying the earth that it lives on. And people are living in a trance. They're somnambulists. They literally are brainwashed. And I don't mean to use the word in a cliched phrase. They cannot think for themselves any longer. The television thinks for them. The television is thinking for them right now. Right now. They can't break away from that conditioning, and they never will. And they're going to destroy themselves. And we celebrate that destruction. We revel in that destruction, because at last it means that the world is going to be the way we want it to be. We are recreating reality, and we're recreating it in our own image. So we're very joyful at the prospect of what you would term the apocalypse. If Armageddon is coming, then we welcome it with open arms. A bloodbath would be a cleansing and a purification of a planet that has been dirtied and degraded for too long.
Like a guy come up to me once and he was freaking out on acid. He said, "Oh man, I'm going crazy." He said, "Everything is all fucked up, man. The world is all miserable." And I said, "No, it ain't, brother, man." I said, "Everything's all right. Everything's in harmony, man." I said, "Everything's perfect." I said, "Can't you see perfection? Look at it in yourself." He says, "It is?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's a nice day, man. Look at the sun's out and everybody's having a good day." I said, "It's a wonderful day." I says, "Can't you appreciate that?" And he said, "Sure." I said, "Well, then relax your mind, man. You know, get all that negative vibration out of you and go on down the road and have a good